It's Coney Hatch right here on your classic metal show with the devil in her deck. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
You know what it means.
Yeah, she's got a demon in her snatch.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it controls you like the devil.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, speaking of control, you turned me on to a documentary on HBO
Yes, sir.
called The Vow.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And it was there's like there's nine episodes, right?
Yep.
9 episodes, and it took me all week to watch it. I think you made me hip to it last Sunday, as a matter of fact, and I just finished up the last episode before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And each episode is almost an hour long.
Right.
So I watched that through the week. Boy, I'll tell you what, we've talked about cults and these people who rise to a point of having followers follow them like sheep and zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very recent thing that actually happened or basically was dismantled within the last year.
Well, Raniere got sentenced last week.
Right.
He finally got sentenced last week, but yeah, it just got dismantled in 2018, I think.
Or 19 into the early part of 19, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, there was a what do you want to call it? An organization based out of Albany, New York.
Right.
And it was headed up by a guy by the name of Keith Raniere.
Right.
And he had a sidekick. What was her name?
Susan something.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, she was kind of like a psychologist type woman.
Yeah, she was creepy looking.
Well, yeah, they're always creepy looking.
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me of that other cult guy, that we watched the documentary, the guy who came from, what was he, from India? And
yeah. What was that guy? Yeah, and he bought all that land up in Oregon or wherever.
Yeah, up in Oregon or Montana or somewhere up there.
Yeah.
And his chick, she was sort of the, kind of the head of running things in a way.
Right.
What was her name? Cindy or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember what that show was called. to look it up or what the cult
it was something about the Wild West or something about what the hell was that? The guy with the white long beard.
Like the Maharishi or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. But this was more recent to where this organization what was the name of that? What's the name of that organization? They had a weird spelling.
NXIVM. Was it NXIVM? I think.
Yeah, NXIVM.
NXIVM, but NXIVM Corporation.
Yeah. And they basically were supposedly a self-improvement organization for people who wanted to improve their lives and do better with themselves and find happiness and all that kind of a thing. And it was it wasn't unlike Scientology almost.
Yeah.
Kind of in that same vein.
Mm-hmm.
But when people got involved with it, of course, people don't look at it as a cult. They look at it, oh, well, this is a new age way of thinking. And this is a, way of enlightenment. And this is a way of discovery, self-discovery.
Right.
But people get wrapped up into this for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And then they realize that behind the scenes, it all boils down to the enrichment of the head guy,
right?
This Keith. And well, anyway, long story short, this Keith and this what was her name? I can't remember. I should have been more prepared. But he and his partner there, They the thing that makes me amazed about this is the millions and millions of dollars
Oh, hundreds of millions of dollars.
that this organization was able to make by appealing to people that are very, very wealthy.
Nancy Salzman.
Yeah, it's her, Nancy.
Nancy Salzman.
And they appeal to people who are very wealthy. The two sisters from the Seagrams.
Yeah, the Bronfman sisters.
Yeah, they're the heirs to the Seagrams fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally help fund this thing as well as other people. But they brought their financial power to this organization and bought into it hook, line, and sinker, and basically turned over millions and millions and millions of dollars to this organization.
65 million.
Yeah. I mean, Phil Collins could have been a part of this and still been money ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Phil should have joined this instead of joining up with that chick.
But here's the thing. What this whole documentary was about, and I want to get your take on all this.
Sure.
When the main characters of this organization, what's his name?
The photographer guy?
Yeah. What's his name?
Mark
something. Mark and his wife and the dark-haired girl.
What, India or there's so many characters in it. Let's see. Let's find these people's names. NXIVM Mark Vicente.
Uh-huh. Now this guy was a documentarian. He originally was from like North Africa or something.
Yeah.
That's where he came from, or that's where his family was from. But he's just, I think he was like his parents, I think, were American, and he was born over in Africa. I guess his parents were over there, right, or something. And he was a documentarian, and so he was a independent filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he figured into this organization because he was sort of their marketing guy.
Right.
And he filmed a lot of their commercials and their infomercials and their,
product videos. Everything.
Exactly. So he got entangled with them.
Mm-hmm.
Then he brought his friend in with the dark-haired girl.
Sarah Edmondson.
Yeah. So he brought her into the fold.
Yep.
And the way that this organization works, it's a multi-level organization that you start in at the very, very bottom. And if you become a member of this organization, you could work your way up to become one of the the higher ups.
Yeah, the what were they called? The circle or something.
Yeah, they had different levels. Much like Scientology, they had a lot of different levels that you could work your way up the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a weird merit system to where you could work your way up. And every time it was kind of like in karate.
Right.
You start off with, I guess, like a white belt, and then you get a yellow belt or a green belt or a black belt or whatever.
Right.
And all the different belt colors. Well, they use sashes.
Yeah.
To indicate your level in the organization. So they would wear these sashes around their neck, and the color and the stripes on the sashes indicated your rank.
Right.
And that's what they worked for.
Mm-hmm.
And they became a prodigy and all these different levels. And if you got to the top rank, I guess if you wore a green sash, you were like at the top of the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Or what did Ranieri wear? He wore a white sash, didn't he? Because he was the ultimate top.
Right.
He was the vanguard, so he got to wear the white sash.
Exactly. So, again, they were so cunning as to be able to fool a lot of people to join this organization and suck them in and basically make slaves out of them.
Made slaves out of them, sucked them dry financially. Dude, were you not just horrified when you heard? I mean, the Bronfman girls that gave up the 65 million, Bronfman girls, fair enough, but they got that kind of money to burn.
Mm-hmm.
For them, I mean, 65 million is a lot of money. I don't care who you are, but still, that didn't bankrupt the family.
No, not at all. That was just their spending money.
Yeah, that was their throw around money. The lady, and I forget what her name was.
Yeah, the blonde girl.
Not her, not the one from Dynasty, the other lady.
No. I'm talking about the one that was involved with Raniere. She literally made millions on her own.
Yeah, the one that was a publicist first.
Yeah.
Publicity firm that made 8 figures a year, and she sold it, gave all the money to Raniere, and then became his publicist.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why could you, what possible reason could you have to need to follow somebody else when you're making 8 figures a year? What could lead you down that path?
Well, again, these people, they're led to believe that they're not living the life that they could have, or they don't know personal happiness. You
Mm-hmm.
can have all the money in the world or be as successful as could be, but you're missing something. You're missing enlightenment, and you're missing, real joy and real happiness. In this
Right.
Raniere, he was going to show you the way.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the Leah Pleurodon. Yeah. He has shown us the way.
Well, he might as well have been that, because it would not have shocked me at all if those people would have woken up with a missing kidney.
And the other one would say, he didn't say anything. little bit of Charlie the Unicorn humor, if you aren't aware. But anyway, here's the thing, and this is what always amazed me about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the hell does all this footage come from?
Well, in this one, I get where all the footage came from, because that Mark guy was a documentarian, and there's another. See, we'll talk about this one, but there's actually another documentary out as well called "Seduced" inside the NXIVM cult.
Yeah, I saw the preview.
Yeah, I watched that one too. It's on Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And if you combine the two things, then it really makes a lot of sense. The reason there was so much footage was because Raniere thought that every word he said was gold. And so he had this Vicente guy following him around all the time, video shooting him.
Yeah, but there was somebody videoing Vicente videoing Raniere.
Yeah.
So there was cameras rolling, whether it was actual camera or video footage or somebody using a cell phone. I mean, there's video of this Raniere guy playing volleyball and sitting in his little circles there and yip yapping with the people who, came to this. And there's even footage of him like walking out of the bedroom and walking down the hallway to the living room. It's just like, wait a minute, somebody's in your house filming you all the time.
Yeah.
Even if you're just walking down the hallway or making a sandwich in the kitchen.
Sure. No, but that's what this guy was doing, and that's why they had so much footage after he left the cult of all those people that were trying to break him down, because this guy just doesn't know anything else except running his fucking camera.
Yeah. Because
that was the part that creeped me out, was every fucking phone call and everything they had video of.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. And here's the thing. Who had the presence of mind to document leaving the cult and then going, well, I'm leaving the cult. I got a camera crew and we're going to document 3 years of working to take this guy down.
Yeah. Well, who knows? But I mean, they are TV people, so they think that they're fucking so important that they need to film everything.
I know, but how is it that they were able to have a camera person in everybody's car while they were taking phone calls, and everybody's house when they were on the internet, and
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous the amount of footage they had. There's no question about that. It was ridiculous, and I was blown away by how these people that come from such wealth were so stupid. And I guess wealth does not at all equate to intelligence.
No, absolutely not.
Man, oh man. I mean, all these people were successful. These were maybe I just don't understand success, because to me, if I was super successful, the last thing I'd be looking to is somebody else to tell me that I'm not.
I agree.
And everyone, I mean, the one lady was the star of Dynasty. That was a big show back in the day, and I looked her up. She's done like 900 other fucking projects.
Right.
So she's been a steady worker in Hollywood for 35 years or whatever.
Well, look at a guy like a John Travolta, or look at that what's her name? Leah Remini?
Yeah, Leah Remini, yeah.
Yeah, she left the Scientology, but John Travolta, he's like a staunch Scientologist guy. And who else is another guy in Hollywood that's really into science?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, that's the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But these guys are, Tom Cruise, of course, he's like one of the biggest actors in the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
And he's a hardcore Scientologist guy, successful, obviously able to make a lot of money, has the fame, has wealth, all this, but he's like into the whole Scientology thing.
Madonna's another one with the Kabbalah.
Exactly.
Madonna, I mean, I don't think Madonna has any problems fucking finding her next meal, even though she looks like she can't find it. But, I mean, I think she has enough money, and yet she gets sucked into this bullshit too. It just is amazing to me. All these people were successful. The Bronfmans, the Bronsman, or whatever their name was, the sisters, they all had a fucking shit ton of money. The Oxenberg lady, and the mother, she had a ton of money. The video guy, Vicente, he had a ton of money. And I'll say this about Raniere. Yeah, cult leader. This fucking guy was smart. He was smarter than most of the other cult leaders, because he didn't put himself on anything.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually have thoughts on that as well.
All right, go ahead. I mean, when they started breaking down that the IRS came after him and all this shit, and they couldn't get Raniere because he wasn't on the articles of incorporation, and he wasn't on the board, and he was what, a consultant or something?
Well, they didn't even mention that. All they asked him, the people who had to testify, it's just like, well, what is he? Is he an employee? Is he on the board? Is he on the payroll? And all they could say was, he's Vanguard.
Yeah, he's Vanguard, whatever that means.
Yeah. Mean absolutely nothing. But see, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was actually thinking about that just prior to the show.
Yeah.
He learned his lesson when he was in that multi-level marketing company back in the 80s.
Right.
That, when they ran into problems, they were coming after him. And he used the same skills of that multi-level marketing as he did in this what's the company called again? NXIVM. But he learned his lesson and said, fuck that. And he did basically what the mob does. Remember in not Goodfellas, but Casino? The mob was receiving the proceeds from the casino, even though they were the ones, funding all this and getting the proceeds, but that they had that green
car salesman guy. Yeah.
Yeah. The green guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy with his name on everything.
And then they had that other lady that was a secret partner.
Yeah, exactly.
That took a bullet from Pesci.
Exactly. So, the mob didn't have their fingerprints on anything where the casino was concerned, but they, received the proceeds from it. And he did the same thing. It's just like he was, benefiting from this thing, but he had no record of being involved in it in any way.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's like at the end of Goodfellas. I never voted. I never registered my car. I never paid taxes. I never did, it was easy. Remember that part where he's like, it was easy for me to disappear. I never did any of this shit.
Yeah, I didn't put my fingerprint on anything.
Yeah.
Hail and Kill, call, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill, I have 2 questions.
Is it related to what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, well, one definitely is.
Okay.
Okay, what do Scientologists? This is theology with the CMS. What do Scientologists believe?
They believe in the teachings of
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah. They believe in the teachings of a guy. That's
basically what it is it's a level of involvement with a cult, as you basically it's another money thing. A lot of the wealthier people who join this, because being that this thing is based out in Hollywood, their big church or their temple or whatever you want to call it, their building is out there in Hollywood. They appeal to these Hollywood types that have a lot of money, and they give them certain status and certain rank within the church. And it's sort of like I don't know what you want to call it. It's a status thing, I guess. But if you're a guy like yourself or myself, we just walk in on the street, you're just one of the peasants.
Right.
So do they all believe that they're gods or something?
Yeah, exactly. As you raise through the ranks, somehow you become a deity, I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, you're enlightened. You're enlightened now. You're an enlightened being, and you're a gift to the world, I guess.
The only thing I've ever been a god of is my genital.
You're the master of your dick, huh Tim?
Pretty much. The other question I have is, why do I keep hearing in Australia, and you'll be able to answer me this because you're much closer to the action than we are, although I do watch the news, but I believe a lot of the news that we're getting is fake news too. Why do all the people in news always tend to say that Donald Trump is behind in the polls? What's really going on?
Well, the reason is they're trying to dispirit people from voting. It's just like, oh, it's a lost cause. Forget it. It doesn't matter if I vote or not. He's going to lose anyway. It's just a way to try to dispirit you from going out and voting. And that's the whole thing. It's don't listen to the news. Don't listen to the polls. Just go out there and vote. Don't go, well, I'm just going to throw away my vote because it's not going to count because he's behind and he's going to lose. Donald Trump is so far ahead in the polls, they don't even want to admit it. He's pulling campaign money out of battleground states like Ohio and Florida because he's so far ahead in those battleground states, he doesn't need to spend any more campaign money in there.
And is it true that Biden only has 30 people turning up to his rally?
Yes. I watched a campaign rally on Trump. I think it was on Tuesday. He was out in Omaha, Nebraska, out in the middle of pig country. There were 29,000 people waiting out in 32-degree weather at 8:00 at night.
Yep. Yeah, well, this is why I tune into the CMS, to get educated.
Yeah, well, we're the smart ones, Tim.
I reckon our Prime Minister, who is unbelievably awesome, gets on very well with Donald Trump. Hail and kill.
All right, there goes Tim.
All right, Tim. Thanks for taking us off of the cult talk.
But anyway, getting back to the whole thing that you brought up about him being smart enough to not have his name or association with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you that when that multi-level marketing thing that he was involved with collapsed, it was just like, well, this program works. I can get people to join, but there's no way in hell I'm putting my fingerprints on this. Let someone else take the fall.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that from, because obviously his multi-level marketing scheme went belly up, and a lot of people were owed a lot of money.
Right.
And it was just like, yeah, screw that. That was a lesson learned.
Sure.
So anyway, the one thing that I wanted to get to regarding this, people following blindly and, believing in this, listening to the conversations that these people had among themselves.
Yeah.
I don't relate to any one of those people. I listen to their conversations and I sit there and go, where are you fucking people from? Who talks like that? Yeah. Who has these conversations like the ones that they have? It means nothing. They throw a lot of gibberish words around that really mean nothing. And it's just like, does this make you smart, or does this make you seem like you're so much above everybody else in intelligence or something? Because what you're talking about, you sound insane.
Come on, Neeley. You didn't think their roundtable discussions were highly educated and smart?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm like going, who talks this way?
See, I'm not going to lie here. And this is going to make me sound like a kook too, but so be it. After watching so much of that footage, and thank God there was like 10 hours of footage to where you could really get a feel for what Raniere was doing. I get it. I don't get how the guys got sucked into it, but I certainly get how the women got sucked into it. This guy was a master at saying the right things and then twisting it. This is a guy that no matter what he looked like, if he gained 300 pounds, would still get pussy all the time. And I'll tell you why, because he was a master at talking. And I ain't gonna lie, watching, and I need to stop saying that, but watching some of his discussions, I was like, yeah, I agree. I agree with that point. And then he would throw the twist, and it was like, wow, that's where he got these chicks. Like when he was talking to the chicks about their place, and that they, the whole conversation that actually led to the branding and all that stuff. When he had them join, what was it, SOP?
Yeah, something like that.
He had them join SOP Light or whatever it was, which was where the women could get the perspective of the guys. And he started talking about how the guys feel. And I could see the women were kind of following along and getting in with that. And then he just twisted it suddenly into, and that's why you shouldn't do this. And it was like, it was his total, he got him. It's in sales pitch, it's called yes pitch, where you get them saying yes, you get them saying yes, you get them saying yes. And then when you throw the no question out, they feel like they can't say no. That's what they teach you when they teach you how to do sales.
Yeah. It's almost like you're drawing them in, you're conditioning them.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. He would lead them in by using some truths and exposing some truths that maybe people don't otherwise say. But then he would throw the twist in there and was like, and that's why you should mark yourself for me. And that's why you should, that's why you should be subservient to your man. And that's why you should give him sex every day that he wants it. And that's why you should, not try to be more successful than him. All the shit that he was saying was crazy, but the way he positioned it was so well done that I got why so many of the women got sucked into that shit.
Yeah. Well, the ultimate thing here, and we haven't touched on this, is that he basically became, he basically had his pick of the women of the litter to have sex with.
Yeah.
And that basically boils down to any of these cult people. I believe David Koresh had his, at his stable of women. And I think Jim Jones was the same way.
Yeah.
And, I don't know about that white-haired guy that I can't think of his name, who was out there out in the West. But, he basically manipulated these women to be his stable.
Right.
And he had his like pick of 10 and 12 women, I guess, at some point. And they were part of the secret society, or the secret, what was it? Slave over master, or master over slave, or something like that.
Yeah. Master over slave or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. And, basically these women actually took a brand. They were branded with a hot branding iron that basically they were, led to believe it was like some kind of an earth sign.
Yeah. The mountains with the sky and
the river, but if you turned it sideways, it was his initials.
Yeah, it was like, you dummies. By the way, the guy in Oregon, his name was Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh.
Yeah, that was him.
The Bhagwan.
The Bhagwan.
Yep. But yeah, they were so stupid with the branding. And I loved how they had the one girl, that Sarah girl, and she's like, well, yeah, I just thought it was, part of the thing. And, and I was loyal. And I mean, when I was listening to them and they started talking about, well, we took all these fucking weird naked photos of us, fucking and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it was the collateral.
Yeah, the collateral.
Yeah.
They had to give up incriminating information about their families and shit. And they just willingly did it.
Yeah. Well, to be a part of this secret society or this secret group,
yeah,
you have to give up something that you don't want anyone else to know. And if you ever break the secret or the pact, we're going to let everybody know. So
yeah.
Who was that one girl? I think she was like a black girl. She became the slave to one of the other ones, and she said that she gave up all her passwords to all her social media and her passwords to like her bank account and all this other stuff.
And they bled her completely dry.
Yeah, and not only that, people were like signing over their mortgages and signing over their, okay, I don't want to break the pact, so. I'm making you a signer on my bank account, or I'm giving you the passwords to my, social media. Or
mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, it was insanity how this happened. To me, it was insanity.
Yeah. Who needs or wants something that bad, and they put that much kind of trust in other people?
Dude, would you ever trust anybody with your banking information?
No. You know what? When I was married, so many years ago, I had a separate bank account from my then wife, and she had zero access to it.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. I mean, these guys, and these were people of wealth. These were people that actually did have a lot to lose and did. These guys just got fucked. None of them walked away with anything. I mean, honestly, the only one that walked away with anything was that Kate or Catherine Oxenberg. And that's only because she wasn't in for very long.
Right. Well, here's the thing. This is this cult where people decided to leave.
Yeah.
Because this Keith Raniere was so well funded with these rich people's money. There was one part in a documentary series that if somebody slighted this Keith Raniere or they left and he didn't like the fact that they leave, they said that he would spend $5 million on lawsuits just to teach you a lesson. Just to, just out of spite.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not leaving my organization. I'll tell you when you can leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the whole Hotel California thing. It's just like you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Right, exactly.
And if somebody decided, hey, I'm not down with this anymore, I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So there were people that went bankrupt. Fighting this guy just because they wanted to leave.
Well, they said the one that tried to leave, they filed 85 lawsuits against him.
Yeah.
85
lawsuits.
And she's the one that won.
Yeah, she won, but yeah, she basically went, she went bare bones.
Yeah.
And she had to fight this for like close to 3 years.
Yeah, she fought for several years to win.
Yeah, and she was like a weekend DJ or something just to make a couple of dollars to have some food on the table.
Yeah, where at one point she was a millionaire. Yeah, it was insanity. It was absolutely insane, dude. But did you not find it interesting too that this was the one guy that did not really incorporate religion into this shit?
Well, he was the religion.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, most of these cults kind of wedge God or some God as the, well, you're doing it for God,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm a disciple of God, or I'm a
Yeah,
speaker
well,
for God.
true, but he looked at himself as being the deity,
Yeah,
so he was the god.
he was the vanguard.
He was the vanguard,
That's right.
you know,
Yeah,
which was very weird because didn't they say that he took his name from a video game?
yeah, it was a video game that he had in his in his basement or something.
Yeah, he's the vanguard.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, so no, he didn't have to incorporate religion into it at all because he was the religion.
Yeah.
He's like the L. Ron Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, L. Ron Hubbard didn't incorporate religion into their belief. He is the religion.
Right. But he actually, and this is another way that I could see this guy getting over, was he was kind of dirty too. So it wasn't this clean cut image thing. Like where he had like the sex party where the guy had the dildo walking around in the party and shit. You know, he was kind of dirty, which kind of was like, okay, well, this could be fun, you know. There's some fun involved in this, and it's not all, you know, religious kookery where you're, you know, going out to the park and then you're going to do a Bible reading or some shit.
Right, right. Well, the other thing that got me is sitting there watching and listening to his little circle jerk there where he'd sit there within the, you know, his drum circle and basically pontificate. And, you know, he would sit there and say something and these people would laugh hysterically like he was like really funny.
Oh yeah.
And I'm go, what was so funny? Why are you laughing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you people just have zero sense of real reality. If you think that's funny, what this guy said, it's like that's not funny at all.
Well, didn't they say that you know they had those meetings just to please Vanguard?
Yeah,
and they had those where everybody was required to be there for the purpose of entertaining. Remember, they said they brought in all the people from the chapters all over the country to sing and dance for Vanguard,
right?
And they would all do their little fucking routines for Vanguard, and he would sit there and go, "Bravo, children!"
Yeah, was that V week?
Yeah, V week.
Yeah, V week.
How I guess if you're in it, maybe you don't see it. I don't know. But man, oh man, watching it as an outsider, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that they're putting on these little skits and plays and, you know, doing these activities, these group activities.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a joiner, ever.
Yeah.
Well, even as a kid, I was never a joiner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember this was the same week that Nixon resigned. What was it, 1974? It was August 74.
Right.
I went to a Bible camp or a summer camp for a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most miserable week I ever had. It was just like, this is not my kind of thing. You know, group activities, all the group activities, everything was a group. You know, we're gonna go canoeing together, and we're all gonna play baseball together, and we're all gonna go hiking together. And it's just like, dude, I am out of here.
But before we start this activity, everybody hold hands and bow your head in prayer.
Exactly. And it was just like, this is just not my thing. And I never went again. It's like, oh, fuck this. You know, my sisters were into it. They were just like, oh man, you can't wait to go to this summer camp thing, you know, and thank God it was only a week.
Right.
Because I was there and I was just like, man, this fucking sucks. I hate all these people and I don't want to do these activities. And it's like, yeah, I could do without this.
Right. That's too funny.
Yeah. Just one week of summer camp. I was just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this again.
Yeah, certainly you're not a candidate for the NXIVM cult.
No. I've always walked my own path.
Sure.
Always.
Yeah, I just can't fathom the one thing that leads people to need whether it's people that find themselves too far integrated into religion or get themselves into these cults or anything is always poverty, or it's usually poverty. But this was the one guy that poverty was not the issue here.
Well, he even spread his teachings to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you don't think of Mexico as being a wealthy country.
No,
but there are people in Mexico who are wealthy.
Yeah.
And his his organization spread to Mexico and appealed to the very wealthy of the Mexicans.
Well, the guy that led the Mexican chapter was like the son of the leader of Mexico.
Yeah, he was like the son of the former president of Mexico or something like that.
Yeah. So he came from another guy that came from wealth and they even, dude, at one point they even identified how Raniere was fucking these ugly chicks because they had money.
Yeah.
He was like, fuck, they said about the one, the main one, I think was the one that Ratzman, Susan Ratzman. She was ratty looking, but she had coins. So he banged her out to get her to pull him closer. And so she'd give up all her cash.
Yeah.
And they just blindly went for it. That documentary was nuts.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's kind of convinced me that I am really going to explore in the new year getting into being a life coach. Seriously, if there are people out there that are that lost and that floundering and they have coin, I'll be glad to be a life coach.
I'll teach you. I'll take your money.
Yeah. I'll do a Skype call with you for an hour, an hour or two a week, and say, so what are you doing today? Yeah. Well, let me tell you what I was doing. Well, let me tell you where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Now that'll be $200 for my session today.
Right.
It's $200 well spent when you could have blown $5,000 on a poor choice.
Yeah. So
think of yourself as you just saved $4,800.
That's right. And you should come back for more sessions to.
Yeah. So I'll talk to you on Thursday.
That's right. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably find clients, dude.
I guarantee you I would.
Dude, look at how many fucking shrinks have people fucking falling out their doors. Especially, you ought to get into it now while people are all depressed and shit.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
COVID and whatever.
You got to figure out how to appeal to the people that are lost but have money.
Yeah,
I'll be glad to be their guide.
Dude, a fucking 1-page website, a Skype connection or a Zoom connection, and and a way to pay, and you're there.
Yeah. I got longer hair like Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
I got the goatee like Jesus. I could, be a cult leader too, or at least some kind of a life coach leader.
Yeah. Wendell Raniere.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, anyway, if you have HBO Go, you can watch all 9 episodes of The Vow.
Yeah.
On HBO, but it's a good at least a 9-hour watch.
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, just how easily these people were led.
Yeah. And then there's 3 more hours if you don't get enough on Stars with that other one, Seduced, which is another one. That one, you need to see that one too, dude. That
I'll check it out.
Because that one is told by the daughter that the girl from Dynasty was trying to get out.
Oh,
India Oxenberg.
Yeah.
That one is made by India Oxenberg. So it tells the story and it kind of spells out the other side that they were talking about in the HBO one.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they kept saying the mother kept trying to get the daughter and the daughter wasn't listening and blah, blah, blah. Well, they asked the daughter all those questions and she answers all the questions about, what she thought when she heard about her daughter and saw her mom taking her to court and saying things on TV and stuff about the cult. It's fascinating. I can't get enough of this NXIVM cult now. I'm all in. I'm hoping there's another documentary on something else. Step it up, Showtime. Let's go.
Well, it's pretty interesting. So if you like that kind of stuff, it draws you in, definitely.
Oh, it does. I do think if I had to say one thing, I will say that fucking, it was a bit long. They probably could have cut it down a little bit, I think, to maybe 5 episodes instead of 9. 9 seemed excessive. Didn't you think?
Yeah, it was long. I mean, it definitely was long, but it gave everybody who's one of the characters in this thing a chance to elaborate about their background and where they're from and how they got involved and their perspective of where things went wrong.
Right. You know what I didn't like too about this documentary, and I know I'm nitpicking here. I'm nitpicking about I didn't enjoy people's personal hell as much as I could have, but I didn't like how they ended it. I would have liked to see more about Raniere getting arrested and the court case, and wouldn't you?
I would definitely. Well, maybe they'll have a season 2. I don't know.
Maybe, but didn't you think they ended it awful quick? It was like they're going through it, then they get the phone call. Oh, Keith's been arrested. Yay, great. And he's in jail.
Yeah.
End of documentary. I was like, that ending stinks.
Yeah. Well, maybe there'll be more. Maybe there'll be a follow-up or something. Who knows?
Like that Netflix thing. What's the murderer one to kill a murderer?
Oh yeah. The making of a murderer.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be like that. Season 2, season 3.
Maybe.
Could be. I'd like to see more about the girl from Smallville, the actress girl that was involved too.
Oh yeah.
Allison Mack. I didn't quite understand her involvement even after watching all of that. I understood she was higher up and that she was like the one in charge of getting the younger girls because she looked younger. But wasn't that kind of weird shit too when they started with the master slave shit and they were like texting back and forth? Master, can I eat?
Yeah, may I have calories? Maybe I have a handful of cereal.
Yeah, it's 31 calories. That shit was fucking weird. I was like, ooh. How do you not look at your own self and go, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, again, it's the whole obedience thing.
Yeah.
It's the discipline and the obedience. And, I'm doing something that's against my nature, but I'm being obedient and following.
Right. Yeah, it just, the whole thing, I think because it just seemed so absurd to me is why the whole thing was so interesting to me. It was because it just so absurd and perverse.
Well, somebody like yourself or like myself who, we always made our own way in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We would never allow ourselves to fall prey to something like that.
Exactly.
And of course, you're left thinking, what the hell are these people thinking or not thinking?
Yeah, not thinking. And it's crazy, dude. I mean, I think everybody at some point tries something. Like, I think I've talked about it before where I tried the quick start thing. I tried it with you.
Yeah, I did. I only lasted a couple of months on that.
Yeah, I only lasted a couple of months too because it just was stupid.
Yeah.
It was like, why am I doing this? Why am I buying fucking $14 shampoo bottles to fucking feed this other guy? Fuck that. That's dumb.
Well, yeah, again, the thing is you're supposed to work past that and get to the point where people are buying the $14 bottles from you.
Yeah, but it was just so stupid that it was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree, but people look at it as a goal or hey, I'm going to make it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be one of those guys walking across the stage.
Exactly.
Getting back from my big fancy trip that I took after I made my first $1 million, after I became a diamond member, man.
Exactly. But that kind of goal oriented stuff appeals to some people.
Right.
Instead of having your own personal goals to where you enrich yourself, it's just like, oh man, they set these challenges for me and I'm gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna prove something to the world.
Yep.
And when people just don't realize, especially here in the US, you have that power all on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they need guys like Keith Raniere to fucking show
Well,
them the way.
they need to be endorsed, and they need to be what's the word I'm looking for?
They need to be led. That's
well,
right.
they need to be led, but they also need to be validated.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, good documentary though.
Yep, I thought so.
All right. Well, since you threw the word the cult around a few times,
All right.
I'm going to play some cult.
All right.
I'm going to play some Phoenix, like a phoenix from the ashes,
Sure.
rising up.
That's right.
All right. Well, here's the cult exclusively here
On your classic metal show.